She served as an educator for Charleston County Schools for many years, and now Dr. Barbara Holmes is bringing her classroom experience to the boardroom as a member of the District 20 Constituent Board. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Dr. Holmes, it is so good to see you.
Good afternoon, Quintin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great.
Hot enough for you?
Yes. It is hot, but I love it like this.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
I can't wait for winter.
There you go. You know a lot of other people in Charleston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
There you go. And speaking of which, when I spoke with you earlier this week, we spoke for at least 20 minutes about a lot of important issues going on in Charleston County School District, particularly with District 20. But you also told me that you are just now recovering from neck surgery.
Right. Yeah, in March I had surgery done on my neck in the back part where I had 4 vertebrae removed and replaced with whatever they call those replacement bones in the neck.
Right.
So I consider myself partly bionic woman. But I have been improving significantly. I've been receiving physical therapy from that point on to be able to have my neck mobile.
Right.
But the most exciting part about having received the therapy is I was able to get back into driving because that's my #1 passion.
You love to travel. A lot of people don't know that.
Travel.
Yes.
And it was kind of playing on me that I could not drive for that period of time.
Right.
So last month, which was August, I was able to drive for the first time, but just short distances.
Right.
But I'm doing a whole lot better. And it'll take about 5.5 more months because of the severity of the operation itself to get back into my normal self. And anybody who knows me knows my normal self is be out there, coming and going,
there you go,
jumping all over the place. So, but I'm taking it slow and getting back into attending the various meetings that I have been attending prior to my surgery.
Yeah.
But I'll be better.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
And let me take it back because you mentioned August. Obviously, a lot of things happened within the District 20. Let me begin with Tony Lewis.
Okay.
As you know, he allegedly threatened members of the Charleston County School District with an allegation about what happened in a local school here. Ultimately, as you know, he was voted off as chairman of the District 20 Constituent Board. When you look back to that incident to right now, what is the biggest thing that sticks out in your mind?
The biggest aspect of that situation was the allegations of how should I say, sexual impropriety that he alleged was happening at that particular school. And it was based on, how should I say, blackmail, the use of it, and it was strictly in violation of the South Carolina Ethics Commission's policy for a public official. So that all of that just put together just really said, no, we are not going to do this. We are not going to have these allegations, and you don't have evidence of this occurring.
Right.
And when it spread to the network, and as well as the Post and Courier and other news items, that was the, how shall I say, the straw that broke the camel's back, that we all decided as a board that we would remove Mr. Lewis as chairperson because that is not how we want to be represented.
Right.
Secondly, when Mr. Lewis did make these allegations, it was made without any of us knowing about it prior to it. So therefore it became a shock to myself and the rest of my colleagues on the District 20 Constituent School Board.
Wow.
And I'm still reeling from it because of it's like dragging a school into the gutter in which you've descended. And I don't appreciate that, and you're alleging that people are involved, and it just stopped right there. But we took a stand and said, no, this is not how we want to be represented.
Yeah.
You see, because we hold our chairperson to a higher power because that chairperson was voted in to represent us. You don't represent yourself. And then in terms of the individuals that he was using as bait to get back into a position, I'm quite sure this was, disturbing to them, because they didn't anticipate that this would go down as it did. So put all that together, we said no. So we're kind of cleaning ourselves off right now.
And speaking of which, let's talk about the future of the Charleston County Constituent School Board for District 20. As we sit here right now, Dr. Holmes, what does the future of the board look like in your mind?
Well, from my point of view, I feel, and I've spoken out about this at the District 20 Constituent School Board meetings from time to time, that we are not in full understanding of what we are responsible for. We have been given our duties and responsibilities. We have been given training on our duties and responsibility. However, we are not, in terms of carrying out those duties, we tend to seem to take on duties and responsibilities that are not ours. Now, it's okay to ceremoniously support certain actions within all the schools, but when you take it upon yourself to say, well, this is what should be going, you're micromanaging. And this is not the function of any constituent school board in around Charleston County. So in terms of the future, I see people who are going to serve with a purpose that's going to improve the children, not personal gains or personal proselytizing themselves that, they want this to happen, they want that to happen. I don't hear the children being involved in that. This is what you want for what would make you feel better about the school. Does that pertain to the child? So I have been talking with a lot of people along the way in terms of them thinking about running for the constituent school board as well as the county board along the way, especially the young people. Right now I feel as though we're kind of muddying the waters to what our purpose is, and at the same time to make sure that we all on the same page, saying the same thing and not making up policies as we go along, which is what I see happening now. And once we get that understanding that this is what we are to do, now if we want to, as a group, to support a school and support principals in terms of what they want, I will agree with that, but don't take it upon yourself to decide what's going to happen at certain schools that you want to have happen, but the children are not involved in that. They kind of, how should I say, use a smoke screen to say that the children are going to profit from it, but this is what you want. That's not going to, in the end, benefit the children. So that's what I see, really all of us being on the same page. Regardless if I'm there, I want to see whomever is going to serve after me, should the public say, no, we don't want Dr. Holmes back there because, he's not what we want. That's all right with me. But the point is, think about who you are going to vote as a trustee, who will take the state of condition of the child, the house that I always say, a quality assurance of education for each child to be inclusive and not exclusive. So my observation, not only of the District 20 Constituent School Board, but as well as the other Constituent School Board, is that there's like a hidden agenda for certain people to say, okay, I want this to happen because of this faction or that faction of people who want certain things, that somehow or another the child is lost, the students are lost in that.
Speaking of which, Burke High School. It's a place that you've known for all your life.
Yes, used to play on the campus.
That's right. And you just showed me a photo of your father from back in the day. I know that you and other folks around here are really trying to save Burke High School. When you think of Burke High School, what goes through your mind? Where are you emotionally?
Personally, I feel betrayed that Burke started out as a magnificent educational institution. I remember the original buildings when I was a little girl. I like to kind of put in this part that my parents came from a little one-hoof town called Saluda, South Carolina,
Right.
to take on a position at Burke High School. And so I have seen Burke transition from its original building to where it is now. And I miss the camaraderie of the teachers. I mean, the difference between how the teachers were back in the day
Right.
versus how they are now, there's a totally night and day.
Yeah, you're right.
Students at that time knew what was expected of them. They went into that class with books and pencils and ready for that day.
Yeah.
And the teachers didn't ask, how was your day, in terms of, did you get the work done? They expected it. Now, I see kids right now, as I speak, go to school, Burke, no books, sagging, you understand what I'm saying? And you're saying, okay, well, where are your books? Where's the paper? Where's
Right.
the bag?
Right.
And they go late.
Yeah.
So now I'm saying, okay, I know that Burke, you know, the administrators are starting off the year in terms of setting the tone. This is what we expect. But prior to this year, which is seeing a transitioning of administrators, a
Right.
transitioning of expectations, which I feel for the first time is kind of getting back to back in the day. But I miss that expectation, you see, and the parents knew at that time who ran the school. Now it's like the parent and the students run the school, and the administrators have to fit in somewhere. So now Burke, has, to me, has gone into an abyss of not being as great, but can return to that great. But I long for those days when I can just say, you know, mighty, mighty Burke.
And well, you know, obviously I graduated class of 2004, so.
We won't get into that. I always say 1914. That's when I graduated.
Yes, okay.
But I feel personally right now, my spirit says that Burke is on his way back up. We have produced prominent Burke alumni, people along the way, and we still are.
Yes.
But it's like we've got to fine-tune certain aspect to continue.
Yes.
I have been attending, well, this will be my second year attending Burke's graduation, and each time, the first time, I said I was so proud
Yes.
of the students. I was, you know, sitting on the stage, and it was like each child was my child.
Right.
And I just wished them well to go on and come back and make sure somebody comes behind them.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, it's like, say, we went into a slump, but we're going to come back.
That's awesome.
And I feel as though the administrators at Burke at this present time are doing everything, and I mean, they put on all the stops. They will always have my support, regardless. Now, if they don't want me to come out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, they better do right. So that's how I see it.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know, I've known you for what? I don't know. I mean, it's been many years.
It's about 2007.
That's right. Yeah. And you are an accomplished woman. You are an icon to some people. But let the people know at home, who is Dr. Barbara Holmes?
Well, let me see. How do I start? I am a, how should I say, an eternal educator.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself. Once I got the bug from both of my parents, and both of them were Charleston County school teachers. As I said, my father taught at Burke until he died, and my mom taught over on James Island from one school to the other. It's like I never stopped being educated. We went to school, came home, more education. You know, you woke up in the morning, educated. So once I decided, well, maybe this is my calling, I decided that I would go into education. And I have seen, where as I perfect my delivery of what I know how to do,
Right.
the children would, absorb and learn. Because when you see the eyes light up. So I consider myself a forceful, aggressive, assertive person. I believe in what I put my mind to.
Sure.
I consider myself a research-oriented person.
Sure.
If I want to know how to do something better, I seek best practices for my particular specialty, which was always guidance and counseling. So therefore, when I talk with teachers as well as administrators, I say, are you research-oriented, which means do you seek to improve on your content of expertise to give out to the children the best practices. So I'm constantly thinking, and then even though I'm no longer employed, I'm still employed.
Right.
And I'm always asking students, how are they doing in school? What kind of grades you're making? What is it you're planning on doing? And so I'm just constantly asking and, saying, okay, if there's something I can do to help you, I'll be willing to do it. I'm also an agitator. I consider myself to be a community agitator because I believe in my community.
Right.
I refuse to allow anybody to come in here and turn it into what they want it to be when my ancestors have worked hard to make it become what it is. So I'm more or less doing what my ancestors are telling me to continue doing. I get a lot of encouragement from retired teachers who knew both my mom and dad,
Yes.
that they, support what I'm doing as a board trustee. I said, I'm making a lot of people angry, but that's all right. As long as we get the job done.
Yeah.
And I'm just really into, volunteering my time. I'm, how should I say, eternal volunteer. If I see where there's a need for someone, that can utilize my skills, my knowledge base, I'm willing to step forward and say, do you need my help?
Yes.
So it's one of my many mantras is that you're either a part of the problem or you're a part of the solution. I
Right.
prefer to be a part of the solution. And last but not least, I can go on for hours and hours. It's like I'm here and there.
Yes.
I consider myself to be a board junkie as far as, my other affiliations. I'm a member of the Dock Street Theater,
Right.
Friends of the Dock Street Theater. I'm also an usher. And as I said, I'm also an active member of the West Side Neighborhood Association. And I sit on the Tri-County Regional Education Commission Advisory Board. And other areas that, as well as being, how should I say, an eternal member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority and Corp. And so wherever I see a need, that's where I'm going to be. So I'm also a poll manager, so everybody's
right.
going to see me in November
Right. Okay.
at Burke High School. That's my, how should I say, my polling place.
Right.
I go no place else because I want people to feel comfortable in coming to vote, that they'll at least see my face as
Right.
well as my co-workers' face, because we all are a set team.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that the people come out and not feel uncomfortable because they know who is going to be there.
Right.
So I do like a Walmart greeter. We go from good morning, good
Yes.
afternoon, good evening,
yeah.
and make people feel welcome. So I'm just one of those persons who wants to make this life better than they found it, and then leave it better.
Yes, ma'am.
Add your house as your carbon footprint,
There you go.
that you did what you could, and that's how I would like to, leave here.
Yeah.
Knowing that I gave, sometimes you have to change direction and ask yourself, now am I doing any good over here? And I may say, no, let me step back and let somebody else take this over, and then I'll look for someplace else that can use. But I don't stop looking.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Well, Dr. Barbara Holmes, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
I enjoyed this.
Thank you.
First time on TV. Maybe it'll make me a star, like Gerald's Tire Recap. I'm not an actress, but I'd like to be. Wonderful. I enjoyed this section.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Okay.
Thank you.